Very good morning to my fellow panel, Sir Hero Effendi and Dr. Mastura. My name is Alista Ramahol and I'm from 4BMMP1 Slot 2. Today I want to present about my PSM2 and the title of my PSM2 is Development of Unsaturated Polyester Composite Filled with Waste Rubber Glove CRUMBS. Effect of rubber CRUMBS with silent treatment on composite mechanical properties. Okay, my supervisor name is Nuzaima binti Mustafa. Okay, I will start with the introduction. Okay, for the introduction, our goal in this project is to produce an unsaturated polyester mixture using polyester matrix that combines rubber or rubber waste crumb with recycling. Besides that, we also want to prepare the rubber crumb from waste glove and fabrication of composite, and to study the property of rubber crumbs that treat with the silent treatment, as well as to investigate the effect of silent treatment towards the mechanical properties and testing. Okay, for the next part is about the problem statement. Here is three problem statement that I want to explain. The first one is there is too much disposal waste that happen all around the world right now, and it is a major problem we need to overcome. Second one, lack of strength on the other unsaturated polyester composite without treatment. The last one is the experiment between unsaturated polyester composite combined with a recycled glove or rubber crumb glove waste has not yet been doing in any experiment. This problem statement is related between with the objective also. Okay, this is my objective. The first one is to prepare the rubber crumb from waste glove and fabrication of composite. The second one, to study the properties of rubber crumb that treated with the silent treatment. Last one is to investigate the effect of silent treatment towards the medical properties and testing. Okay, this part explains about the scope and significance of study. For the scope, unsaturated polyester will be studied in this project. This project will be applied on processes and materials such as unsaturated polyester, physical waste, rubber glove, and composite, and silent also. For the last one is mechanical testing. For the significant, the production of the modification of polymer composite reinforced with recycled rubber glove as filler or fiber, the development of the polymer composite by certain its mechanical behavior, and this study will provide another solution to produce new product from the recycled waste. This study also apply the recycled rubber waste in the developing of polymer composite, thus add it with unsaturated polyester to strengthen its properties. Okay, this is the literature review. Okay, in the literature review, this is the journal that I choose for this slide. Okay, in this literature review, there consists of explain about the unsaturated polyester, silent treatment, as well as mechanical and physical testing on composite. Okay, the next part I will explain about the methodology, but first thing I want to explain about the material. Okay, this is the rubber crumb that we use, and the waste rubber glove, liquid nitrogen, unsaturated polyester resin, and this is the silent and safe shaker. Okay, for the next part I will explain about the characterization of rubber crumbs. Size of rubber crumbs, morphology of rubber crumbs, and shape and surface characteristic of rubber crumb. This data explain or show about the size of rubber crumbs. Okay, the mesh on the coarser sieve that using in this process was from 0.1 mm, 0.2 mm, 0.3 mm, and 0.8 mm. Crumb with departure diameter of 0.8 mm, 0.3 mm, and 0.2 mm, and 0.1 mm were physical characteristic. Okay, the highest one is the 0.8 mm. So this size of the crumb we use for the making of the composite. Okay, this figure is a figure from the scanning electron microscopy, shows that size of rubber crumb that from the 0.8 diameter, as you can see here. Okay, this figure shows about the fabrication of the composite for 5%, 10%, and 15% for untreated, and as well as silane treatment for 2%, 4%, and 6% with 5% of percentage of rubber crumb. Okay, this is the small pieces size of rubber crumb. Okay, the rubber crumb mixed with polymer. The mixture from step B was transferred into the mold. A low composite to cure for 24 hours, and the hardened composite was removed from the mold after 24 hours. Okay, this figure shows about the silane treatment preparation for 2%, 4%, and 6% wet percentage. Okay, the first feature is water to alcohol agitation. Silane mixture with water and alcohol stir together, and the rubber crumb will pour into the solution. After that, okay, then soak for 3 hours. Okay, for the method that we use is for cyanoorganic grinding process. This cyanoorganic process is to cut the rubber crumb to a rubber glove to more smaller pieces, which is called rubber crumb. Okay, for the mechanical and physical testing in our project, we use flexural testing and tensile testing. For the rubber crumb surface methodology, we use contact angle measurement and scanning electron microscope. Okay, this is my methodology flowchart of the project. Okay, the next part is the result and discussion. Okay, in the result and discussion, I will show you the data for tensile and flexural testing for untreated 5% rubber crumb. Okay, for the tensile strengths, as you can see here, the pure polyester is higher than the 5%. It is because the pure polyester doesn't have any mixture in it, so it is makes sense that higher than 5%. So for the flexural strength, also same as our tensile strength, which is pure polyester, also the highest one other than 5%. Then it decreases to 10 to 15%. The figure shows that the more concentration we use, the more it will be decreased. This is because the last rubber particle dispersion in the saturated polyester is relatively complex and inefficient, which is responsible for low strength of the rubber composite matrix and therefore increased local stress concentration of the matrix. Okay, in this next part is the rubber polyester treated with silane treatment for 5% rubber crumb. As you can see here, the untreated is around 10.3.1 tensile strength, and it will increase rapidly for 2, 4, and 6%, which is the more the silane treatment we use, the higher tensile strength as well as the flexural strength. Untreated is the lowest because there is nothing treatment inside that, so it is better we using treatment to enhance the strength of the rubber composite. The increasing of the strength of the 6% or about 1.3% increase higher than untreated. Okay, for the flexural testing, the increasing of the 6% is around 8.86% higher than untreated in the flexural strength. Okay, for the next part, I want to explain about the figure for the scanning electron microscope for of tensile fracture. structure for the untreated. As you can see here, this figure is pure polyester, 5%, 10% and 15%. And as you can see here, there is nothing in here because it is a pure polyester. Okay, for the 5%, there is a few rubber in it, and a few voids, and smaller gap also a few. Okay, for the 10%, there is a larger void, smaller gap, bigger gap, and rubber crumb increase in the 10%. Okay, for the 15%, the rubber crumb we can see here increase, and as well as bigger gaps, smaller gaps, larger and smaller voids. Okay, so in this figure, 50% of weight percentage for rubber crumb. There is a lot of rubber crumb in here, so it is explained that the more waste rubber glove we use, the more its tensile strength will decrease, and when the content of rubber in the composite increases, polyester cannot withstand the crumbs well. Okay, this figure shows the same micrograph of surface morphology treated with SILANE. Okay, the first figure is 2% of SILANE treatment, 4% of SILANE treatment, and 6% of SILANE treatment. Okay, for the 2% of SILANE treatment, as you can see here, the rubber crumb pull out from the polyester, and for the 4%, rubber crumb pull out from the polyester and poor interfacial adhesion. Okay, for the 6%, rubber crumb embedded inside the polyester and strong interfacial adhesion. For the 6% of SILANE treatment, the rubber polyester were really embedded to each other, and there is no crack, void, and all the damage rubber was better than other two concentration. So it is meant that the more amount of the SILANE solution we use, the stronger interfacial adhesion it will be. Okay, this figure is for the same micrograph of tensile fracture structure SILANE treatment. For the tensile fracture structure, okay, this part is 2% of the SILANE treatment, which is, as you can see here, the smooth surface, laser micro crack, and wider crack. For the 4%, the surface was rough, more micro crack and smaller crack. Okay, for the 6%, the surface was rough, more micro crack and smaller crack. Okay, the next part is the figure for the contact angle measurement for 0% untreated, 2%, 4%, 6%, and for SILANE treatment. Okay, the main reason to conduct this study is because to investigate the effect of rubber treatment, which is SILANE to rubber surface. Okay, as you can see here, for the 6%, as the starch angle decrease, the wettability of the surface increases. The rough, narrower contact angle surface substratum means the water droplet is thinner and the surface area is hydrophilic. The treatment of SILANE is expected to improve the rubber of hydrophilic properties. Okay, this is the average contact angle. So as you can see here, it is decreased, and I already explained why it is decreased just now. I already explained about it. Okay, for the discussion, so in this project, SILANE treatment was achieved to enhance the strength of the rubber polyester composite because the objective is one to determine the effect of this treatment to the rubber polyester composite for both of tensile and fractural as well. Okay, for the conclusion and recommendation, properties of polyester resin with rubber handle, which is this research focus mainly on changes in the properties of its properties, untreated and treated SILANE. There is two main parts that have been determined and studied here, which is to study the difference between untreated and treated SILANE for waste rubber crumb composite. SILANE treatment was achieved to enhance the strength of the rubber polyester composite which 6% of weight positive of silane is the best silane treatment, because the objective is one to determine the effect of this treatment to the rubber polyester composite for both of tensile and flexural as well. And this is my recommendation to study on polyester with no different kind of material available, the study of new method of fabrication on rubber crumb composite. Okay, this is our product, which is rubber crumb composite between untreated and treated with silane treatment composite. Okay, that is all for my presentation. Thank you for listening, my fellow panels, Sahel Effendi and Dr. Mastura.